Is this the reunion that could define Newcastle's next chapter? Or are we witnessing Eddie Howe's most personal transfer gamble yet? A goalkeeper who owes his entire career to our Gaffer, 3 relegations under his belt, and now Newcastle are reportedly making their move. We might be witnessing the dawn of a reunion 8 years in the making. Let's dive into what's really happening behind the scenes at St. James's Park. What's up, Toon Army? Welcome back to NUFC Quick News, your go-to source for everything Newcastle United. The passion, the pride, and the black and white fight. Today we're covering a story that shows exactly why Eddie Howe's approach to transfers is so unique. Stick around until the end because this could change everything about our goalkeeping situation. Right, let's get straight into it. Aaron Ramsdale to Newcastle United is now closer than ever, with Fabrizio Romano reporting that an agreement is close and new talks are scheduled to get the deal done. Now, before you roll your eyes thinking, here we go again with another goalkeeper rumor, let me tell you why this one's completely different. This isn't just about filling a position. This is about Eddie Howe bringing home a player he literally created. 8 years ago, when Howe was managing Bournemouth, he convinced the Cherries to pay Sheffield United £800,000 for an 18-year-old goalkeeper who was anything but ready for first-team football. That teenager? Aaron Ramsdale, who's now 27 years old and has 5 England caps to his name. But here's where it gets interesting, and this is something most people don't know about our Eddie. He doesn't just develop players, he develops people. Ramsdale wasn't just rough around the edges as a keeper. He had attitude problems, timekeeping issues, and frankly, he was a bit of a liability off the pitch. What do you think separated Howe from other managers in that situation? Drop him? Sell him on? Nope. He showed him tough love. The turning point came during a Carabao Cup clash against Chelsea. Ramsdale was supposed to be on the bench, but he overslept. Not just a little late, he completely missed the team bus. Can you imagine? The club's player liaison officer had to go wake him up at his house while the team was already on their way to face one of the biggest clubs in England. Howe's response was swift and decisive. Fine, loan move to AFC Wimbledon, go learn what it means to be a professional. But here's the beautiful part. And this shows you exactly the kind of manager we have. Howe kept the door open. He gave him a second chance. Now, I want you to really think about this for a second. How many managers would have written off a teenager who showed such disrespect? How many would have cut their losses and moved on? But Eddie Howe saw something deeper, something worth fighting for. Ramsdale himself admitted years later that this was his penny-dropping moment. Being at home while his teammates were playing against Chelsea, knowing he couldn't do anything about it because of his own stupidity, it destroyed him, but it also made him. The loan to Wimbledon wasn't punishment, it was education. Ramsdale came back a different person, and eventually became Bournemouth's #1. From there, England caps at 21, a £30 million move to Arsenal, helping them qualify for the Champions League for the first time in 5 years. Are you starting to see the pattern here? This is vintage Eddie Howe, taking raw talent, adding structure, discipline, and belief, then watching them flourish beyond anyone's wildest expectations. But here's where the story takes another twist. Ramsdale's Arsenal dream turned into a nightmare when David Raya arrived and pushed him down the pecking order. Last summer, he moved to Southampton for £18 million, hoping to rebuild his career. We all know how that ended, relegation. And Ramsdale made 30 Premier League appearances, as Southampton were relegated to the Championship. But here's what's fascinating. Despite the team's struggles, Ramsdale was still performing at a high level individually. So why would Newcastle want him now? Because Eddie Howe doesn't see a keeper who's been relegated. He sees the man he helped create, the character he helped forge, and the potential that's still bubbling under the surface. Think about what Howe said about Ramsdale's character back in 2019. Larger than life, quite vocal, qualities that are quite rare these days. Does that sound like someone who'd fit into our dressing room culture? Absolutely. What's really fascinating about this potential move is the structure Newcastle are reportedly considering, a loan with an option to buy, with Newcastle willing to pay a heavy loan fee and cover Ramsdale's wages. That's not desperation, that's strategy. It gives Ramsdale a chance to prove himself without massive financial commitment, and it gives Howe the opportunity to work his magic once again. But let's be honest about what this means for our current situation. Newcastle have been searching for a keeper to challenge their number one Nick Pope, especially after missing out on James Trafford, who joined Manchester City instead. We need depth, we need competition, and we need someone who understands exactly what Howe expects from his players, both on and off the pitch. Can you imagine the conversations happening behind closed doors? Howe explaining to Ramsdale how he's grown as a manager, how Newcastle's project aligns with his development philosophy, and how this could be the perfect place for him to rediscover his best form. This isn't just about signing a goalkeeper. It's about Eddie Howe backing his own judgment, trusting his ability to get the best out of players he knows inside and out, and potentially solving two problems at once: squad depth and a talented player's career resurrection. What do you think? Is this the kind of move that shows our manager's genius for player development? Or are we taking an unnecessary risk on someone who struggled recently? Let me know in the comments, because I'm genuinely fascinated by how the Toon Army feels about this potential reunion. The beauty of this story isn't just the football side. It's the human element. It's about second chances, about loyalty, about a manager who never gives up on talent he believes in. And if there's one thing we've learned about Eddie Howe during his time at Newcastle, it's that he has an incredible eye for character and potential. If this deal happens, and reports suggest Ramsdale has already said yes to the move, it won't just be a new signing reporting for duty. It'll be a student reuniting with the teacher who changed his life, ready to write the next chapter of both their stories. So there you have it, Toon Army. A transfer story that goes way beyond tactics and statistics. This is about relationships, development, and the kind of long-term thinking that's becoming Eddie Howe's trademark. What's your take on this potential signing? Are you excited about the possibility of Ramsdale in black and white? Or do you think we should be looking elsewhere? The comments section is yours. Let's get this discussion going. Smash that like button if you're buzzing about the possibility of this reunion, and hit subscribe to never miss a Toon update. We've got so much more transfer content coming your way, and trust me, this summer is going to be one for the ages. Until next time, stay proud, stay loud, and always keep the faith. Away the lads.